Rebuilding the GT3 RS engine is Matt's dream. But this time, he had to admit that he made a mistake. Not just the car, but also his wallet. First, the original cylinder block was completely ruined. This car had once been in submarine mode. After being salvaged from the water, the cylinder block was full of rust. It wasn't enough to make anyone's scalp tingle. The cylinder block had to be scrapped. Matt then bought a brand new cylinder block from Porsche's headquarters. The pain in his wallet was off the charts. After purchasing the new cylinder block, everything should have been back on track. But when Matt received the new cylinder block, he noticed a string of seemingly insignificant letters marked on the side. 8 letters. At the time, he thought it was just decoration. Nothing to worry about, so he proceeded to assemble it. He put the whole engine together. But in the end, naivety always comes at a price. After assembling it, a professional told Matt that these letters actually indicated the size of the main bearing. This directly affects whether the crankshaft can rotate properly. What's worse, the markings on the new cylinder block didn't match the original at all, so Matt had to disassemble the whole engine again. He had to disassemble it deeply enough to access the main bearings. Then he replaced them with the correct ones according to the markings. It felt like reshooting a suspense film. The only suspense was whether there would be more pitfalls this time. Actually, all of this could have been avoided if he had just paid attention to those seemingly unimportant letter markings. Matt would have been on the road racing by now, instead of sighing in the garage. At present, the engine has entered the disassembly cycle once again, but this time with the correct main bearings. Matt finally has a bit more confidence in the future. Hopefully, after this overhaul, this GT3 RS will run faster than its repair costs. If you also want to rebuild an engine, remember one thing: never overlook any details, especially those tiny things that seem insignificant. After all, if we have to do it again, we might as well dismantle the whole house. The differences that are nearly invisible to the naked eye. Yet, these small things can decide the engine's fate. Is there any difference between thick and thin? In the main bearing lineup on the table, A and B are the thicker ones, while the others are the thinnest. At first glance, they seem indistinguishable. It's like a contest of who has the more subtle disguise. But don't be fooled by appearances. The difference isn't visible to the eye. It's measured with a micrometer. The blue bearing is 0.098 inches, much thinner than expected. The yellow bearing is of medium thickness, somewhere between the two. At this point, I can't help but wonder, is it really worth dismantling the entire engine just for this barely visible difference? Is it really worth it? But the answer can only be revealed on the racetrack. To avoid making another mistake, Matt matched the bearings according to the markings on the cylinder block. The yellow bearing is replaced. The blue bearing is installed. Moving to the other position, he continues to replace the yellow with blue. Finally, even the red bearing is replaced. Following the markings, everything is replaced. Now all the gaps should be perfectly accurate. With this, the engine can be reassembled. Hopefully, there will be fewer surprises this time, since it's already been disassembled once. Reassembling it is much quicker. Here is Matt's main operating procedure. First, apply a layer to the cylinder block to prepare for the wedding ceremony. Then, join the two halves of the cylinder block. Secure them tightly with the bolts. Then, secure the piston connecting rods. One smooth action. Install the new head gasket. Tighten the new bolts firmly, making everything rock solid. The two camshafts now perform their duties. One for intake, one for exhaust. Anticipating the grand finale. Now, Matt has fully rebuilt the engine. Will this effort make the GT3 RS Reawaken with vitality? We hope the answer will be revealed when the timer rings. Let us wait and see. We'll see if this engine can live up to the effort and complaints we've put in. After rebuilding the engine, Matt's biggest realization is that the seemingly insignificant details often end up being the main culprits for doing it all over again. Next time. Let's hope there isn't a next time. After all, engines are loyal to precision and will not tolerate carelessness. The engine rebuild has reached a crucial moment. Next, Matt needs to install the pulley. Align it with the camshaft and make sure everything fits perfectly. Otherwise, the whole process will be like a dancer missing a step. First, secure the pulley at the bottom. Its design is thoughtful, only allowing installation in one direction. Once installed, the engine can easily be rotated with special equipment. Align it to the top dead center. Top dead center is the position of piston number 1, indicating the piston has reached the top of the cylinder. This is clearly marked as OT1 for on the pulley. It's very clear. The second step is to lock the camshaft. After turning the engine to top dead center, take a set of tools designed to fix the camshaft. They're like exquisite works of art. They specifically slot into the camshaft, ensuring they're firmly locked in the correct position. This design is clever. If the camshaft position is wrong, the tools won't fit at all. This is a mechanical safety limiter. Next, the third step, a crucial step. The chain ensures the crankshaft and camshaft rotations are perfectly synchronized, like a mechanical symphony. To ensure the performance doesn't go wrong, the chain must be tightened. Matt uses a fake chain tensioner. This small tool plays its biggest role here. Avoid skipping teeth when starting. Just imagine if the chain is loose and misaligned. The inside would be a mess. That would truly cause chaos. Next, secure the gears onto the camshaft. These gears are cleverly designed. Even if the camshaft doesn't rotate, they can still be adjusted into place individually. This step requires two special bolts, along with a set of tools. The final step. Now comes the most delicate part, tightening the nuts. Tighten them initially to 30 microns, just enough to lock their positions. After removing the locking tools, continue rotating each nut 40 degrees to achieve the final torque specification. This step is like making the final sculpting of a piece of art. Every degree is crucial. Summing up, details come first. At this point, the pulley, chain, and camshaft are all firmly in place. The whole process feels like a perfectly synchronized dance. Every tool, every step must work in perfect harmony. Though it may sound as complicated as solving a physics problem for the college entrance exam, but thinking about this engine about to be reborn, every bit of effort is worth it. After all, precision is the soul of machinery. A slight difference could lead to great consequences. Now we wait for the ignition moment. Let's see if this meticulously crafted mechanical beast can take us back to the racetrack. If the chain or nuts are loose, the engine's fate will quickly be doomed. So after the fake chain tensioner completes its task, it must be replaced with the real tensioner. The genuine one will automatically adjust the chain tension once the oil pressure is in place. And this is the key. This operation is a bit mind-boggling. The next step is for Matt to remove the temporary camshaft cover and replace it with the real rocker cover. But this is not as simple as just unscrewing the cover and putting it back on. First, remove the two plugs on the side of the cylinder head. Then use a special fork to pry in. Firmly hold the camshaft. Once it moves freely, the situation will not look good. Finally, remove the temporary camshaft cover. Slide the rocker cover into position and secure it. Matt has definitely paid his tuition fees this time. This is a major learning curve. The bottom of the rocker cover has a cleverly designed slot, allowing the camshaft to rotate smoothly. It looks complicated yet precise. But this is the charm of mechanical engineering. Next, we need to see if this engine will be successful. 67% confidence sounds like a lottery. But after all, Matt is using a scientific approach. Turn the engine 360 degrees. The result is clear it turned. Good news, Mark succeeded. Halfway there. The engine's work is done alternately. One side ignites the fuel. The other side takes in the air-fuel mixture, forming perfect balance. Therefore, the operation on the other side must maintain the same precision. First, rotate the crankshaft another 360 degrees. Lock it to top dead center. Repeat the previous steps. Install the rocker cover and camshaft on the other side. Align the timing. A brilliant balancing act. The opposing working principle of this engine is the secret to its smooth operation. The more perfectly the two sides work together, the better the performance of the engine, and any tiny error would cause the whole engine to fall apart. Now everything is assembled. The timing is aligned, all plugs are removed. Matt is also ready to flip the engine. Let's see if it runs as expected. Though the process is as complicated as a mechanical magic show, if it works, it will all be worth it. Hopefully, this engine, with Matt and his father's efforts, will come to life as expected. And perhaps we can proudly say, GT3 RS. We saved you. Finally, the engine timing on both sides is completed. The process was chaotic, but the result is quite perfect. Matt decisively removed the tools and locking devices. Carefully flipped the engine. The surprise came. No piston-to-valve contact. Everything is as smooth as silk. At this moment, it felt like hearing the engine whisper a little more. Finish me off. The heart of the engine relies on the fuel pump. Matt firmly installed it in the camshaft's designated position. Using the spring, push the high-pressure fuel into the fuel rail. At the end of the rail, 3 injectors are poised for action. Dad tightened the connecting pipes, ensuring the fuel system is flawless. This is a classic example of teamwork. Installing the oil cooler is the next crucial task. This device handles both the oil and coolant, ensuring they don't mix. They must remain separate. After installing all the seals, we begin connecting the water pump and thermostat housing, then install the belt and lock the tension. At this point, the cooling system is finally online. Speaking of Brew County, it performs exceptionally well. The seal is tight with no gaps. This engine uses a dry sump design. All the lubrication oil, that is undoubtedly a nightmare-level part of the project. It's like a wad of cotton stuck in your pocket, but way more complicated. Fortunately, the photos Matt took earlier became the key battle map. Next is the big assembly time. The water pump and pipes join forces, connecting every part of the engine from left to right. At this point, Dad is fully focused on installing the thermostat housing. The engine is driven by a belt, not a chain, so we need to adjust the tension. and secure it into place. However, some small components are still missing, like the alternator and air conditioning compressor. Once these two stars are installed, the auxiliary belt will be ready, and the tensioner will successfully unlock. This part is almost done. It feels like the progress bar has quickly filled up a big chunk. He is gradually figuring out where every wire should go. During this process, Matt also took the opportunity to install a new intake manifold, replacing the damaged part from the accident. The final step, installing the auxiliary components, such as the alternator and air conditioning compressor. The remaining details are adjusted one by one. Now, the engine is finally assembled. Quietly waiting for the first ignition, this is a 4.0L naturally aspirated 6-cylinder Porsche, the heart of the GT3 RS. Yes, it's the one. Matt really hopes that during the repair process, nothing was overlooked and nothing was done incorrectly. Looking back on that Rolls-Royce Cullinan that fell into the water, because every single part in this car is crucial. Like the starter motor, it's installed at the bottom of the engine, at a depth similar to that of a journey to the center of the Earth. Though this starter motor got soaked, it didn't break. It endured the Titanic-level water pressure, though it also damaged some small parts. Who cares? The left side of the engine. The left side of the engine is truly the most accident-prone area. A fuel pump pipe was directly knocked out. The golden wiring was twisted into a braid. Even the plastic shell cracked with a big gap. It was like seeing a ghost. Even the alternator had to make sacrifices. But don't worry, Matt has already ordered new parts. While the left side is under post-disaster reconstruction, Matt shifted his focus to the gearbox and flywheel. Connecting them is no easy task. First, the engine must be detached from the mount. Before rebuilding the engine, Matt also took the opportunity to repair the damaged carbon fiber roof and the pillars on both sides. The pillars were already battered beyond recognition, but no worries. Matt's welding and seam skills are on point. It was instantly restored to its former glory. Next, the car was sent to United Automotive Company to repair the rear end, and also to prepare for painting. Speaking of painting, Porsche can almost customize any color. But when the options are so many, choosing one becomes a dilemma. The paint job is still in the planning stage. But regardless, the owner's final choice will undoubtedly not disappoint. Now, Dad and Matt's task is clear. Assemble the engine to perfect condition. Ensure it pairs perfectly with the gearbox, and then make the final sprint preparations for painting. In short, the process of fixing this GT3 RS is like an adventure. Both brain-racking and full of surprises. Every screw, every wire tells its own story. And we are working hard to give this story a perfect ending. Matt bought a brand new oil seal, much tougher than the original. It feels like Iron Man's armor, although the old one worked fine. But for peace of mind, he decided to replace it with a new one. After installing the oil seal, the next crucial step is installing the rear seal. If it leaks, it will be a disaster film. If it leaks into the gearbox, the clutch could turn into an ice rink. To avoid such a tragedy, a little lubricant was applied to the sealing edge, carefully pushed in. This thing is also a design that sticks to one path. The engine side has locating pins. It's impossible to install it incorrectly. First, tighten the bolts to 60 microns, then tighten them 90 degrees further. The process is as tense as a weightlifting competition. Once the flywheel and engine are tightly connected, we're one step closer to the final goal. Speaking of the gearbox, this is the real case of a total breakdown. It, along with the engine, spent its submersion holiday underwater. Matt is unsure whether it can still be used. After all, the gearbox is full of electronic components. This is worse than an iPhone falling into the toilet, quite a shocking sight. But then again, the Rolls-Royce gearbox also went through submersion and still worked just fine, so Matt remains hopeful. Luckily, this gearbox has a hole in its oil pan. Perhaps it's God's drainage hole. If water really did get in, then let it flow out properly. Now that the new oil seal is in place, the flywheel is secure. The gearbox's fate remains uncertain. Though Matt feels a little nervous, he still believes that good luck will be on his side. When fixing a car, it's not just about technical skills. The mindset must be even tighter than the bolts. The road to restoration is long, but every step is heading toward victory. Next, hopefully, Matt's lion-hearted gearbox will bounce back like it's been juiced up and continue on the road. The gearbox problem is complicated yet simple. We think if we clean it up properly and add a little luck, it might just come back to life. After all, life is an adventure. After all, life itself is but an adventure. I do not wish to blindly dismantle this old waterlogged timepiece. After all, Matt has no time to disassemble the transmission either. Thus, Matt has decided to use the simplest method to verify life and death. Install the engine, place it back in the car, and turn the key to see if it works. If it fails, it will be an immersive repair experience. All is ready. Matt and his father join forces. They gently guide the transmission into place on the engine. Perfect alignment. Next, they tighten the bolts carefully, step by step. It's as if they are hosting a grand concert between the transmission and the engine. The century-long union is complete. Now, only the protagonist remains to make an appearance. The body has just returned from the media shop. The car seems to have undergone a top-tier skincare treatment. It now wears a brand new paint job. I've yet to see its new color. This moment is filled with both anticipation and anxiety. It's like the moment you unwrap a gift. The ceremony is full of grandeur. This project is about to come to an end. The next task is to install this rebuilt engine and transmission into the car, to see if they can work together flawlessly and return to the road. This restoration is an adventure. Every step is filled with challenges and uncertainties, but it's also filled with joy and a sense of accomplishment. The new color of the car is chosen as shark blue. It perfectly matches the underwater legend story. After all, it has undergone many underwater adventures. Now it returns, reborn in all its elegance, from the repair shop. If no one said anything, who would know it once came from the depths of the water? The back quarter of the body has been perfectly restored. Every detail reflects the spirit of craftsmanship. So please look forward to the Shark Blue GT3 RS. A perfect transformation from the repair shop to the racetrack. As for this video's content, you can discuss it in the comments section. Thank you for watching. See you next time.